They know how to play with the lead. We are going to step on the throat of Washington. We're going to put the pedal to the metal. We're going to put the gas to the floor. That's exactly how we're going to play. We do not play not to lose around here. We play to win. Don't play not to lose. Play to win. Continue, continue, continue.
He might have the most energy in the league, Rob Keefe. Love it. Play not to lose the game. It's looking good thus far for Albany, 28-15. First half stats. And Tommy Grady was a big part of that. A veteran Albany quarterback, helping them to 174 passing yards and 177 total set.
I tell you, the numbers are staggering in their favor. One extra possession, really. But they've been able to do what they want. Malachi Jones had a big half. Joe Hills had a good half. We'll see if they can carry that on into the second.
Era has Dean Kokinos, the Washington coach.
Dean, second half, get back on track, right?
Yeah, we just got to get back in rhythm. You know, the game was flowing pretty good there. The onside changed a little bit. We had to stop there, but, you know, we just got to fight through everything. So.
Looked like Warren in the first half. Maybe the game was moving a little fast for him, trying to find some throwing lanes. Game was going fast. Should slow down for him, though, in the second half.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, that was our concern coming in. He hadn't played in a while, so just let the game come to him, stay in rhythm.
Good luck, Coach.
All right, thank you, Pat. Code Orange night in Albany. Waving many towels around the arena. It's good to see. They had a crowd of over 13,000 a couple weeks ago on opening night. And they lost to Philadelphia and close to capacity again. And sending shockwaves around the league, said, for what can be done.
Well, I think it's just one of those things where the other cities got to step their games up. They got to step their game up. This is a proud city, a great city for this game.
And some dicey moments off the net for Reggie Gray, swung to the end zone. Good special teams coverage by Albany.
Well, unfortunately, the ball takes a wicked bounce and drops straight down from the net. Somehow you've got to not let it hit the ground so you have a chance, but great job of getting on the ball, keeping possession as we get a look at Warren Smith's numbers from that first half. And he was under duress the entire time and still came out with pretty decent numbers. You want that yardage to be equal to, so you want at least 100 yards for those 10 completions, if not a little more, but he did a nice job because he was under heavy duress.
He was.
Being smacked around the field, was able to play through it. They just got to come out here and really just go down the field and put some points on the board.
The front line of Albany, Willie McGinnis, Joe Sykes, Nick Seither, Darryl Cato Bishop, and Derek Summers wreaking havoc. Smith, the short drop, and it's intercepted. Picked off the rebound towards the end zone and in. Touchdown, Albany, Mario Norman, the pick six. First interception of the year, and it's a memorable one.
Team had no turnovers. First two games, they've got 2 turnovers here. Fumble, strip fumble, and a touchdown return. But this is one of those routes you throw on the inside hitch. And Reese doesn't get his shoulder squared up to the quarterback. And you're throwing on rhythm on time. You're expecting to see his numbers.
Albany's going to go for 2. Trying to make it a 3-touchdown lead. Now they're confused.
Now they're going to kick it. Now they're going to kick it.
The installation didn't happen quickly enough. Now they have to go to Kenny Spencer for the extra point.
I don't think there's any reason right now to chase points. You're in control of this game. Just kick the extra point and keep it moving.
I would agree. Dominant performance by Albany.
And listen, they're being helped a little bit as well. So it's not, you know, this team.
Off the bar, the miss by Spencer. First miss of the night.
This team came out ready to play tonight in their home building. They're ready for something to change. And as we get a look at this interception, it's a combination between Warren Smith being too fast, but you see the slow route by Reese doesn't get his head around quickly. You're in a void, a bubble. Smith is trying to get out of his hand because he's been under duress. And what great hand-eye coordination right there by Mario Norman with the pick six.
Pat O'Hara's downstairs. What was Albany thinking about first going for 2 and then having to go to the extra point?
Well, interesting philosophy down here for Albany. After a sudden change, the game plan was to line up and go for 2 to try and draw a timeout by the opponent. As said knows, timeouts are critical in this type of game. That was the thought process behind that. Didn't work, but that was the thought process.
Right, so I tell you, you've got, P.O. knows this, you got 2 masters down there. You got Les Moss and you've got Rob Keefe. 2 guys situationally understand what's going on at all times and want to take advantage and use every element to their advantage.
That's just great strategy. Unfortunately, it didn't work for them, but an admirable effort, so that explains that they weren't going to chase the 2. They just wanted the timeout burned. Spencer off the net to Chris Duval, who brought one back last week for a touchdown. At the near side, Barry uses it to his advantage before he's planted by Mario Norman. That was a 13-yard interception return for a score by Norman. Rob Keefe's energy continues. He's going to sweat through that shirt before he knows it.
Without question.
It might be shirt number 3.
Without question. He's probably already changed it once. His motor runs high all the time. That energy, that passion, it's just what he has at all times.
Looked like that perspiration that you had last night when I ordered chicken nuggets at dinner.
I'm like, you come all the way across country to get chicken nuggets. Come on, man.
Well, chicken nuggets can go with any meal.
But you can also get those at McDonald's. You don't need to be at a decent place to get that.
Reggie Gray to midfield. I was trying to channel my inner 9-year-old.
Not that they weren't good, because they were pretty good. However, my kids would order chicken nuggets.
Of course they would. That's why I love your kids.
I mean, come on, man.
Also, our producer Josh Littlejohn in the truck says they love the chicken nuggets.
The crew loved them. I thought they were good, but however,
well, we were onto something there. I thought we had some simpatico going.
Nah. Little simpatico right there with Reggie Gray.
That was.
On the nice little quick check down. He's able to get it upfield for a first down.
Gray in his 9th year from Western Illinois. Smith fires. And Gray got a hand on it, could not corral it with Varmasoni deep in coverage. Fastball by Warren Smith.
Well, listen, you can't drift at the top of your route. That's the second time it's kind of happened. Almost cost him another one here. But at the top of the route, you got to really stab in the ground, get your head around first, and then get your body around. If you get your head first, you can locate the ball and find it. They're having a hard time getting their head around. And Warren, you know, has taken a beating. So maybe it's coming out at 10th early. We were getting on him earlier in the game for not being on time, not anticipating. He's trying to do those things. Now the receivers have got to up their ante and get ready for him.
He sends Rod Windsor in motion, who's got 2 touchdowns in the first half. What a hit on Reggie Gray at the barrier. Terrence Moore, the Jack linebacker. And the fan might bring Reggie Gray home.
You can keep the ball. You got to give Reggie Gray back, though. Now watch Terrence Moore close this gap on this throw.
Yikes.
I mean, I'm not, as I'm going back, when I see that Jack flying out of there, I got to find something inside on the crossing route. He's going to cover the flat immediately. I can't throw that ball out there late like that.
He's just been a skosh late on some of his throws. Smith in his 4th year from the University of Maine. He's the NAL MVP last year, the National Arena League. Smith off the back foot for Reggie Gray and incomplete.
That's better timing. Just needs a little more air on that ball.
Varmasoni had coverage on Reggie Gray. A pair of veterans going head-to-head.
And P.O., how is the demeanor, the conversation going on right now between Dean and Warren? What's it sound like down with you?
Yeah, there's definitely the rhythms off, you know, between quarterback receiver. And then sometimes he doesn't have time to throw the ball, and he's anticipating. There's just a rhythm problem and a vision problem right now for Warren. He just hasn't played a lot of football this year.
Washington brought Shane Austin in this week, Pat, to back him up. Smith trying to scamper out of the pocket, and he gets hit and brought down.
That was fourth down play. You've got to hang it up somewhere. Give your guys a chance downfield to make a tackle. Maybe they'll intercept it.
Steady pass rush by the Albany Empire. And Warren Smith has had a long night. 20 unanswered for Albany, leading by 19. Well, Washington has a lot of work to do, trailing the Albany Empire 34-15 with 9:02 remaining in the third quarter. And before the break, we saw Willie McGinnis sack Warren Smith, and this has been the name of the game, pressure all night from Albany.
They've done a nice job of getting after the quarterback coming in tonight. Just 2 sacks, but the harassment, the pressure, which forces the guy to think about what he's doing a couple times. If you see McGinnis there, staying home.
And off the end around, it's Malachi Jones this time who gets stymied. Good tackle by Jake Payne, a defensive lineman from Shenandoah, 6'4", 275. So Jones scored a touchdown on the ground before halftime. Albany has had this crescendo building throughout since the end of the first quarter, and it's been a steady stream of Empire dominance.
Well, they've been due for a breakout. They couldn't score week 1. Third week of the season, they had an extra day of practice.
Now Grady under pressure with the flag, though, was Washington offsides.
I just assume blow that dead. If I'm Tom McCabe, I don't want to get another guy banged up. You've got a unevaded pass rusher to the quarterback. Blow that one dead.
Yep.
We've already lost 2 of our guys.
Outside the defense, number 42. It's a 5-yard penalty, an automatic first down.
It's a good time said to wish best wishes to Nick Davila, a speedy recovery to him. And very scary moment last week.
Absolutely.
Take another look at this penalty on Washington, but Nick Davila, true character and one of the great guys in the AFL, a guy that you've known for many years. And
respect more than anything. I mean, the way the kid plays and prepares and competes, nobody like him. And, you know, I believe Dan's out as well for a few weeks. So, I mean, it's tough. You got to blow that one dead.
Dan Rodabaugh last night getting hurt. Baltimore Brigade with a big win. Here's Grady. One's a little low and incomplete to Colin Taylor. A rare misfire by Tommy Grady.
I think that was so easy. He saw it so fast that he just kind of relaxed.
Did he
when
have
he
too
threw
much
it.
time?
No, he just relaxed when he threw it.
It's like you standing over a putt.
And threw it. No. My knees don't shake like that.
Wait a minute. I played with you last year. We both were sweating. That's because it was 100 degrees.
Yeah, that's different.
In Tampa, yes. I'll give you that one. I'll give you a mulligan. And in motion is Malachi Jones. Grady to the end zone for Jones, and incomplete. He had him again. Going for the hat trick for Malachi Jones, but they did not connect.
And he sees this one late and is off balance when he tries to throw it.
Pat, what are you hearing downstairs from Les Moss?
Third down for the Empire.
Between each other, and they know what each other's thinking. So an interesting dynamic here between player and coach, where there's only a few words spoken, but they're on the same page every time.
Les Moss and Tommy Grady getting it done. Mawia, the fullback, inside the 15 to the 11.
I mean, this team with this quarterback and coach tandem, Les Moss, with Tommy Grady, played in the Arena Bowl against San Jose, and they were blow for blow with them, and then they lost 2 of their starting receivers, and it turned into a tough game for Tommy Grady. So he was close to the pinnacle that year, got a good taste of it, wants to get back, and Les has already won a championship a few times, but as a head coach with Jacksonville with Aaron Garcia back in 2011.
And another flag, free play maybe. Joe Hills couldn't come down with it. with one hand. Multiple flags. Looked like Jake Payne was offside.
And the game has been a little sloppy. Tommy working a hard count, but
2 fouls on the play. Offside the defense, number 99. That penalty is declined. Pass interference on the defense, number 23. That penalty being enforced, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
And it's getting a little sloppy. And P.O., when you talk about when you're in this position offensively, you want to see your team be clean, don't you? You want to see your guys execute cleanly?
Yeah, Albany they're really in rhythm now. It's taken a couple weeks to get going, but the communication's really interesting between Les and Grady here. But watch Joe Hills here to try to work him as a blocker on this play. Really trying to work Malachi Jones.
What a hit, Pat, by Falls.
Wow. Roosevelt Falls.
Oh, boy.
He made Malachi Jones fall.
Over the cliff.
He turns right into him. He turns right into it, but he's trying to spin and make a guy miss, right? Hello.
Wow, thunderous. Roosevelt Falls from Louisiana Tech. 6'2", 230 defensive lineman in his third year. Second and goal for the Empire.
You're the Valor here. You got to get off the field. Look for Joe Hills here.
Grady out of bounds as Hills fell down at the goal line.
That's a good defensive play there from Dominic Addison. Jam, you got space to jam. You got to run through. You're at the line of scrimmage. He kind of loses his balance, but that's a good play. That's not pass interference.
It's good handsy coverage by Dominic Addison.
Yeah, so we're gonna work Malachi here. I'm saying I'm saying the Albany Empire are getting all excited down here. They're gonna bring Malachi Jones around in motion here. You see number 7. He's gonna come around motion. He's got an option to either run a comeback at the pylon or come across. Typical play in this system.
Here it comes. Grady with some time, fires, incomplete.
He makes the wrong choice there because he allowed the defender to just pin him where he wanted him to go, P.O.
And that's a timing play. You know, you see Joe Hills run that all the time, right? He's scored a ton of touchdowns on it. For Malachi, it's going to take some reps.
Right.
Follow, let's fade options. They try to help the safety. We got 2-on-1 on the backside.
So they're going to motion around.
A lot of these teams try to play combo coverage. And so at double ins and double outs are beaters to combo coverage. So you're going to see an option here. Watch Joe Hills coming around. He can go in or out.
Grady for Hills. That was easy. Hat trick. Number 3 of the night for Joe Hills. He's caught a touchdown in 83 straight games, and he continues to build his impressive resume. That's 26 unanswered for the Empire.
And you're wrong if you're right. If you stay over there in man-to-man coverage, look at the 2 DBs on the backside. So now you're leaving somebody locked up on Joe Hills. But Nick Addison's got to kind of force the issue with Joe Hills. Force him down to get help from your jack linebacker. Don't allow him to get a clean release inside where he can go higher and miss your jack. You got to kind of force him into that help.
That wasn't good enough. Kenny Spencer, another miss. Albany still has plenty of momentum. Tommy Grady, Joe Hills. It's a connection that you can build a season around. 25-point lead for the Empire. Joe Hills having another terrific night. A career littered with them. 237 career touchdown receptions. The back-to-back wide receiver of the year in the Arena Football League. Off the net, Chris Duval trying to take it out. Eludes a tackle. Maneuvers past the 10 and crunched at the barrier on the near side. As Spencer, the kicker, makes the tackle, but Joe Hills, we figured he'd be in the spotlight all night, said Bonner, and he has been.
Coming off a 4-touchdown game a week ago. This was a big one there. You go from a turnover to snatching it for a TD and fade. outside edge. He's able to create, and in all these plays, you get him isolated outside, man to man. And you see the number 7 for 85 and 3 touches, and you got to take something away from him. Force him somewhere where you want him to go. You can't allow him to roam free in the red zone. He is too dangerous.
That's 18 catches in 2 weeks for 193 yards as Rod Windsor with the reception past the 20. Meanwhile, for the Valor, who have struggled since leading 15-14 their first 2 possessions, Dean Kokinos, home 3, 1 play, the interception return for a touchdown by Mario Norman, and then the fumble.
You know, it's definitely been a rough half. You just cannot get that rhythm, that sync going.
Windsor again past midfield, where Norman taps him out. There is a flag down. Also Varma Sony over there covering.
Legal block below the waist, number 70 on the offense. It's a 10-yard penalty, still second down.
James Atoya call for the penalty.
He can't block towards the ball, so he can't turn.
Is that negligible?
That's a tough call, because you can't block back towards the line of scrimmage or towards the ball that way. But they're both running laterally towards the play.
So what's the expectation? It looked like a dicey block on Terrence Moore's leg. Moore's lucky that it did not cause injury. He's still in the game. Reggie Gray, the man in high motion. Short drop for Warren Smith. And Windsor's got it. It's to the 23-yard line and a first down. Rod Windsor clearly the early line favorite for the favorite target of Warren Smith, who's making his first start for the Valor for the injured Nick Davila.
And I tell you, like I said earlier, that's the X position. He's going to be outside and left open quite a bit.
And that's going to be the end of the third quarter. The Albany Empire running an impressive script as they aim for their first win in franchise history. Entertaining a big crowd at the Times Union Center. Varma Sony and Malachi Jones part of it. And that defense has been fierce. We're back for the fourth after this. Albany 40, Washington 15 as we start the fourth quarter from the Times Union Center with Seth Bonner, John Mita Perrell, Pat O'Hara downstairs, Josh Littlejohn, and our outstanding crew. Glad to have you with us on CBS Sports Network as Warren Smith unloads one to Reggie Gray. Nice maneuvering by Gray in the open field, and he brings it to the 10-yard line. So maybe a little momentum on the side of Warren Smith now with a 25-point lead. Albany obviously can't rest too easily, he said, but they certainly have had a terrific night. They'll play again next Friday night against Washington at Capital One Arena in D.C.
Yeah, I think this Albany team is getting better each and every week. They're starting to get things on the defensive side going. Summer's starting to get home up front. Seether and the rest of the group starting to make it tough and doesn't make you want to sit in there and hold the ball. They're bringing pressure with effort on every play.
Windsor the intended target, Sony in coverage. Body language has not been good. The comportment hasn't been good all night. They've been hands on hips. A lot of disappointed looks from Washington, as you'd expect, and it starts to get frustrating. They only won 3 games last year.
Well, they're trying to change culture. They're trying to change habits. They're trying to change the way they do things. And you lose a great leader, and you're still trying to make these changes. It's really tough on you.
You know, these are all good reps, though, for Warren Smith. It's kind of trial by fire, but you know, every rep he can take in a game situation here, regardless of the score, is what the Valor need. I mean, he's their quarterback right now, so valuable reps. It's tough right now, but good learning experience for Warren Smith.
He just got sacked back by Joe Seitz third all-time in sacks in AFL history. And you know how much pressure he can bring off the edge set. Second sack of the night for Sykes. A very talented team, Albany. And they do hold on and win this game. Could be a good launching point for them.
Everything starts with one. You got to win one game first before you can win two. You got to get better. You know, this matchup, they're going to be very confident. If they continue to play this way, they're going to be very confident next Friday night. Very confident.
Yes, well, they should be.
So I'm going to ask you a question. Who do you think the best team is right now in the AFL?
Best team in the AFL right now would be the team that won last night, Baltimore. Right now.
Right now. I would concur. It's hard to you know, as I said in the Waterboy, don't bet against the champs. Don't bet against the champs.
Bobby Boucher, one of your favorites.
Don't mess with the champs. However,
tough to say they aren't after holding Philadelphia to 21 points as Smith misfires out of bounds for Reggie Gray in the end zone. P.O., would you concur with the Baltimore Brigade as the best team in the league?
I would say that with the caveat that this Albany football team, you can't look at the record. You look at the roster, the support they have with all these fans, and the coaching staff. They're right there, I think, with the best of the best in this league.
Yeah, I think they have all the pieces. It's just a matter of coming together and getting that confidence that Sed just talked about.
I would agree. And all these rosters, P.O., are loaded. When you talk about Baltimore's roster, you talk about Philly's roster, those rosters are all loaded with talent. Overthrow, ball thrown too flat, got to put a little touch on it. Good route there.
Yeah, what's interesting is Philadelphia's rosters, obviously, they're the defending champions. With Dan Roudabaugh's injury and the uncertainty of his status moving forward, changes the whole dynamic within the league.
It does. Turnover on downs. Well done by Albany's defense as they continue to lead by 25 at the Times Union Center. Albany on its way to its first win in franchise history with 11:15 left in the fourth. And don't forget, tomorrow at noon Eastern, CBS Sports Network brings you the Women's College Lacrosse Patriot League Championship game as Navy and Loyola Maryland face off. They battle for the conference title on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Loyola with a big win over BU today, and Navy blew out Lehigh. A lot of points left on the field tonight, said Bonner, for the Washington Valor. They've only scored on 2 of their 6 drives as Tommy Grady connects with Malachi Jones to the 20, still on his feet inside the 15. Good field recognition by Jones to get back on his feet and gain some more yards.
Tracy Belton undercuts the route and almost has it. But again, just a step off, not able to make the play. And great concentration by Malachi. He hops right up. Michael Knight aware, alert on the situation, gets him on the ground. And third quarter woes continue for DC. They've scored 7 or less points in 13 of 17 franchise games. Now, they haven't had their franchise quarterback in a lot of those games, but they have not been able to kind of overcome.
And last year it was tough for them to stabilize the position. Grady fires, and it hits the barrier intended for Colin Taylor. After 22 yards for Malachi Jones, they come up dry.
Winston, try it.
Yeah, I just love the communication between coach and player. Les asked him an open-ended question, and he just ran to the huddle and said, "I got it." Les said, "I got it. I know what you're going to do." Les, what's he going to run here?
I think he's going to bring Joe around again and give Joe an option route, and then we got an out and a little stick route by number 7.
All right, so watch 81 come around here and come across the field or sit it down.
Grady, end zone, Incomplete for Joe Hills. Dominic Addison in coverage with Tracy Belton.
That's good coverage. I think that option, I need to turn that into an old arrow, China whip, whatever you want to call it. He's got it wide open. They're jumping the post route every time he goes motion to that short side.
I love it. I love it. Les said 2 words to him. I don't even know what he said. Tommy said, yep.
Hey, P.O., when you played, did you have that type of communication with any of your head coaches?
I did have that with Tim Markham. It's just really neat to see that dynamic between these player and coach.
Great Tim Markham, one of the legends in AFL. Grady back foot, off the net, touchdown. Colin Taylor, peace of mind, and a touchdown. That's how you get it done. We talked about it off air before the game. Why don't more quarterbacks do it? But Tommy Grady, the veteran, fired it off the net for 6.
You're not supposed to do that. However, you got beat with the okie doke, and you can see Colin Taylor just kind of hanging out and waiting, and then he goes right back to it. So that was the play call, because he was expecting it to come right off the net.
So yeah, just talking to Les Moss, he goes, hey, P.O., we practiced that off the net, and he winked at me. I think living right, Tommy Grady living right, making good decisions, and this is Albany's night tonight.
Meanwhile, they have the celebration crew on the field before Albany has attempted the extra point.
I don't think they could, I don't think they really realized what they were feeling in the groove. They just had to get on the field. Wow.
Oh, boy.
Sometimes you got to get your groove on, man, and shoot some shirts up into the stands. You can't wait. You're all hyped up. Just scored a touchdown.
Just a little bit premature. I don't blame him. Celebrate the touchdown off the net by Colin Taylor. Everybody practices that, right?
Sure. Only because you use your quarterbacks to throw off the nets sometimes for kicks. If your kicker's not kicking that day, that's the only time you really do it. But man, what a well-designed double wink play. And the Albany Empire got it rolling.
Since the 5:04 mark of the first half, when Washington led 15-14, it's been all Empire. 33 unanswered. Spencer's kickoff is played off the net by Chris Duval. He's got the kicker to beat, but Spencer makes the tackle at the 15.
Okay, Spence.
Who says kickers can't make tackles?
But see, Spence likes to get a little crazy at times. He'll talk trash. He's a little different. He's not your normal kicker.
Rob Keefe loved it, but there is a flag.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct on the kicking team, number 18. It's a 10-yard penalty, first down.
I mean, you get a touchdown, but look at this. 19 sticks his head across the body, wraps up, and then he's going to roll a few times. Chris Duval didn't like it. Took exception. The penalty should have been on. Look at him, he's standing there talking trash. You're going to kick off with your head on a swivel, man. You're going to talk trash.
Colin Taylor celebrating with Kenny Spencer. Spencer in his 7th year from Northern Alabama. So first down at midfield. Smith with a low throw to the 17. T.T. Tolliver coming up with it. His first catch of the night. 41-year-old T.T. Tolliver. 6 foot, 185 pounds from Bethune-Cookman. 16 years in the AFL.
And has every record imaginable at the receiver position in this league, but still loves to play, still having fun, enjoys it.
First down for the Valor. Smith to the end zone. Picked off. He underthrew Tolliver. It's picked off by Norman. Norman past the 10. The flip to Terrence Moore, who finally gets corralled.
And it's not necessarily an underthrow. It's a bad read on the coverage. Mario Norman baits him into the throw and then says, no thanks. We're taking this the other way.
Tommy Grady on the bench now for Albany. He's had quite a night, helping them to a 47-15 lead with 5:52 remaining in the fourth quarter. Welcome back, everyone. Good to have you with us on CBS Sports Network. Alongside the AFL Hall of Famer Sid Bonner, I'm John Mita Perrell, and Mike Faithful is in the ball game. Almost threw a pick as it gets batted away. Tough throw by Faithful. Quake Cox with the deflection. Faithful now 0 for 4 in limited duty.
I tell you, that's one of those ones you're throwing that hot. You got to almost snap the ball a second before he gets to the line of scrimmage. So you take the Jack linebacker out of it. He snapped that one a little bit too late.
Faithful from UCLA backed up Josh Rosen, the 10th overall pick in the NFL draft by Arizona. Every time we say UCLA, Pat O'Hara breaks out in hives. It's the Trojan in O'Hara that can't stand the Bruins. Oh, good catch over the barrier, brought it down. McNeil brings it down for his first catch of the night.
It's a good opportunity for the rookie here, Mike Lafal. Get some reps.
Left X back.
Even though he's a UCLA quarterback, Pat?
Hey, tell me why to get the heck out of the way.
You know, a different dynamic now with Grady out of the game. Les has to really explain to the rookie what he wants here.
I love how Les just cleaned it up for us right there.
They like this young player, though. They like this quarterback. They think he has an opportunity to get better and learn from Tommy.
Doug McNeil with his first catch of the night in acrobatic fashion. Fumble by Faithful as he picks it back up. Said what's going through his mind now. Mike Faithful is coming in cold, replacing Tommy Grady, who was terrific. It's going to be a difficult process.
Well, it's right now it's not difficult. You're just trying to get the snap. As a young guy, you want to get the snap and try to give yourself a chance to compete. You want to give yourself a chance to compete right now. You can't compete if you don't get the snap.
Yeah. It's all about experience now.
Yeah, Les, what do you got here?
It's a hit sail combination.
Okay, so they're going to run number 9 here, McNeil on a little stop route, and then run a little out-breaking high corner route, short corner route with 7.
On 4th and 5, threw it into coverage.
He took a 5-step drop on a 90s.
Yeah, he took 5-step drop.
Yeah,
Said you're exactly right.
That's too long. That takes too long. He's got to take a 3 and throw that sail route.
And the pick by Addison.
And Addison, Dominic Addison finally comes through, makes a big play. He's been close all night. He's been battling all night. Makes a big play for his team.
We saw him today at lunch. He said, just get my name right, would you?
3-step. Took 5.
Say my name a lot is what he wanted from you to say.
Right?
He told me Nick. He told me call him Nick, too.
What? Dominic, Nick.
He told me call him Nick, so I'm going to call him Nick. We're tight like that. But
You are
big play
tight.
for him. Big play for
I
him.
was. Warren Smith, can he capitalize late? Oh, what another bone-crushing hit by Terrence Moore.
I'll tell you, T-Mo right now is bringing it.
Wow.
He is flying around.
As Josh Reese bore the brunt of it.
And he is flying around. Ton of energy. Got a great rapport with Coach Keefe. They've been around each other. This guy can flat out play.
T.T. Tolliver is the man in high motion. Warren Smith to Reggie Gray. Shifty move to the 10. Tripped up by Mario Norman.
Again, as Pat was talking about, more reps. Reps are always valuable. Live reps where the heat is on, guys are flying at you. So valuable for Warren Smith to continue to grow and get better with each one of these reps.
He's going to have a short memory. Talked about D-backs in this league having a memory as he hands it off. Rumbling towards the end zone. It's the handoff to Funga. Siosifa Tafunga. I sat in my hotel room today practicing that name. Siosifa Tafunga.
One more time.
Siosifa Tafunga. University of Washington. 315 pounds.
Teammates with a toy.
Yep. There's a lot of beef on that Washington team. Fake handoff on the end around by Smith as he gets crushed at the barrier.
Tell you, Seether was all over that. Stayed home, did an excellent job. Fake the handoff, fake the reverse, quarterback keep. And your right side defensive end is responsible.
1 minute warning.
Hey, my name
Albany on its way to its first franchise victory. 4 empty possessions for Washington. We'll be back for the final minute after this. For Albany coach Rob Keefe and his Empire leading 47-15 with a minute remaining. Tonight at 11 Eastern, major points, major money, and a major legacy are all on the line in Las Vegas. The 25th PBR Unleash the Beast series continues with the last Cowboy standing right here on CBS Sports Network. It's Seth Bonner and Pat O'Hara. I'm John Mita-Perrell. Unleash the Beast. That's about the Albany defense. Smith to Gray. One-hand catch off the barrier. Fighting towards the goal line, but stifled by Arthur Hobbs. Athletic maneuver by Reggie Gray.
Tell you, one of the toughest kids I've ever seen play this game. Small in stature, but lots of heart. You see him still fighting. He's trying to punch it in and compete.
What a night for Albany, said, feeding off momentum since trailing 15-14 with 5 minutes remaining in the first half.
Tell you, the onside kick was huge.
Smith to the end zone for Gray. Reggie Gray's in. Touchdown, Valor. Good throw by Warren Smith, and Reggie Gray the beneficiary. That's his second touchdown of the year.
And he gets that one out a little bit earlier, but he sees the coverage. Brandon Stevens just a half a second late. Great concentration by big play, Reggie Gray.
They'll go for 2, trailing by 26. Is there a 26-point play in the back?
No, but more reps, man, and situational football. They all matter. Great route and a great catch.
Yep, Reggie Gray again.
Great job at the top.
Good throw, good catch.
Stems him at the top, breaks him off, and makes a great outstretched catch, competing to the end.
And back in Albany. Fans ready to celebrate the first win for the Empire. Pat Clark. Line drive off the barrier. And that deadens it. As Albany will take over with 9.5 seconds remaining. Rob Keefe will pick up his first win. And the Albany Empire will play Washington next Friday night at Capital One Arena. And that will be a much needed night for momentum purposes for Dean Coquinos. They'll have to do some soul searching on the Washington coaching staff this week and try to get this thing going in the right direction.
Absolutely. It'll be their first game at home in front of their fans. Beautiful building.
Yeah.
Great atmosphere. They'll have to find a way to rally and make some things happen. And listen, Warren Smith's their guy right now, but you brought Shane Austin in, who's got a ton of experience. We'll see how the chips will fall come next week.
Mike Faithful, the backup quarterback for Albany. After Tommy Grady had a terrific night, Faithful will take the knee and kill the clock. And some pushing and shoving. But still a terrific night all around. Albany picking up its first franchise victory. The Empire have one in the books for Rob Keefe. Malachi Jones, a large part of the effort. Saluted by Arthur Hobbs and the veteran Grady. Between Joe Hills and Malachi Jones, 5 touchdowns combined and a 47-23 onslaught by the Empire. A lot of talent on this team, said Bonner, and this will be good for them to get it going.
I think it's a big win. Did a nice job in front of their fans, able to try and turn that corner to really, I mean, it was a close game. Onside kick happens, and then all of a sudden, they just dominated the game the rest of the way out.
It was a no-doubter as Albany wins to improve to 1-2 and drops Washington to 0-3. We're back to wrap things up after this on CBS Sports Network. Tommy Grady's won many games in his career. He could chalk up another memorable one, leading Albany to a 47-23 victory. Grady was 21 out of 30 for 221 yards and 5 touchdowns. And with said Bonner, I'm John Mita Perel, said it was the type of night where everything Albany touched turned to gold.
Yeah, they did an outstanding job just taking advantage of a lot of errors by their opponents on the road. And here's one. You got a chance to make a huge play early on. Ball's bouncing. Heads up play by Joe Hills. You missed the onside. An extra possession, and the onslaught was on. Even later, off the net to Colin Taylor. And I tell you, it was just one of those kind of nights. The kicker, you've got a wide open score in front of you by Chris Duval. The kicker able to bring you down. Not their night tonight.
And Philadelphia and Baltimore tied at 3-1. Big win for Albany. First in franchise history. They drop Washington to 0-3. So soul-searching time for the Washington Valor. And that's about going to wrap it up for us. For Sed Bonner, Pat O'Hara, our producer Josh Littlejohn, our entire crew, I'm John Mita Perel. Saturday, May 19th, the AFL back on CBS at 6 Eastern. Albany heads to Philadelphia to take on the Soul. This is a